Money stress is felt long before it's spoken, long before the arguments, long before the late-night conversations, long before the words, "we need to talk," ever appear. It shows up quietly, in the silence at the dinner table, in the way a man stares a little longer at his phone, in the tension carried home after work, even when nothing is said. A disciplined man understands something most people miss. Stress does not begin with words. It begins with atmosphere. Children feel it before they understand it. A wife senses it before she hears it. A home absorbs it before anyone names it. Money pressure changes tone, it changes patience, it shortens tempers and stretches silence. And often, the man doesn't even realize he is carrying it inside. He tells himself he's handling it, that it's temporary, that he'll deal with it later. But stress doesn't wait for permission. It leaks, not through shouting, but through presence, through distraction, through a man who is physically home but mentally elsewhere. This is why money stress is dangerous, not because of the numbers, but because of what it quietly steals: peace, safety, and emotional steadiness inside a home. This video is not about becoming rich. It is about becoming stable. Because before money stress destroys finances, it first disrupts families, silently. And a disciplined man learns to notice it early before it ever needs to be spoken. Money stress rarely announces itself through empty accounts. It shows up first in the man, in how he carries his shoulders, in how quickly he loses patience, in how his mind never fully leaves the problem. Before the bank balance drops, his attention drops. He listens less. He reacts faster. He becomes guarded, not because he wants to hide, but because he doesn't know how to explain what he feels. Money stress turns thinking inward. A man begins rehearsing numbers instead of conversations, scenarios instead of connection, fear instead of presence. And this is the quiet danger. The home doesn't need financial perfection, it needs emotional stability. But money pressure slowly pulls that stability away. The man starts conserving energy, emotionally. He speaks less, not out of anger, but exhaustion. He withdraws. And not because he doesn't care, but because caring feels heavy when answers are unclear. This is why unmanaged money stress spreads, not through decisions, but through demeanor. Children feel uncertainty. A partner senses distance. The home becomes tense without knowing why. A disciplined man doesn't wait for crisis to respond. He notices the internal shift early. He recognizes when stress is shaping his tone, his patience, his presence. Because leadership at home begins internally. Before budgets, before plans, before solutions. Stability starts with the man learning to stay grounded, even while problems remain unsolved. That is discipline under pressure. When money stress enters a home, it doesn't arrive loudly. It rearranges things quietly. Schedules shift, conversations shorten, laughter becomes less frequent, not gone, just delayed. Family dynamics begin to change in subtle ways. The man becomes more cautious with words. The partner becomes more attentive to moods. Children adjust without being told to. No one announces it. Everyone adapts. This is how uncertainty works. It doesn't demand attention. It slowly reshapes behavior. Decisions are postponed. Small purchases carry weight. Moments meant for rest are occupied by thinking. And over time, the home feels different, not unsafe, but less relaxed. A disciplined man notices this shift. He understands that leadership is not only about fixing numbers. It is about protecting emotional rhythm. Because families don't fracture from a single crisis. They erode from prolonged tension. When money stress lingers, the home becomes reactive. People speak carefully. They avoid topics. They carry emotional awareness instead of ease. Children learn something important here, silently. They learn whether uncertainty creates fear or steadiness. They watch how a man holds himself when outcomes are unclear. This is where discipline matters most, not in control, but in containment. A steady tone, predictable presence, emotional reliability. These are stabilizers. Even when finances are unsettled, a home can remain calm, but only if the man learns to manage pressure before it manages him. Silence is often misunderstood. Many men believe that saying less is the same as protecting their family, that carrying the burden quietly is a form of strength. But silence, by itself, is not leadership. Avoidance creates distance. Calm creates safety. A disciplined man knows the difference. When money stress rises, some men retreat inward. They become quiet, but not grounded. Present, but not available. The home feels it, because silence without steadiness creates uncertainty. It leaves others guessing. It turns concern into tension. Calm presence is different. It does not require full answers. It does not promise certainty. It simply communicates stability through tone, through routine, through emotional consistency. A calm man doesn't overshare his fear, but he doesn't disappear into it either. He shows up, regulated. And he speaks with intention, not avoidance. He listens without defensiveness. He remains predictable even when outcomes are unclear. This is what leadership looks like under financial pressure, not dramatic conversations, not forced optimism, just a man who remains himself. Children learn trust from this. A partner finds relief in this. The home settles because someone is anchored. Money stress may still exist. Problems may still be unresolved. But fear does not run the house. Presence does. And presence, when practiced consistently, becomes discipline. Pressure is unavoidable. Spilling it is optional. A disciplined man learns to contain stress before it leaks into the people he loves. This doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It means regulating himself first. Money stress builds internally. If left unmanaged, it searches for an exit. And it usually finds one in tone, in impatience, in withdrawal. Containment is the skill of stopping that transfer. It starts with awareness. A man notices when his thoughts loop, when his jaw tightens, when his presence becomes sharp or distant. These are signals, not failures. Containment is responding to those signals with structure. Routine grounds the nervous system. Predictability calms the home. Simple, repeated actions restore stability. A disciplined man protects certain things fiercely. The way he speaks at home, and the emotional temperature he brings through the door, the rhythm of daily life. He does not unload his fear onto his family, nor does he isolate himself completely. He processes pressure elsewhere, deliberately, through quiet planning, through physical regulation, through trusted, limited conversation. This is how a home stays safe even when money is uncertain. Because families don't need transparency of fear. They need reliability of presence. When pressure is contained, children relax. Partners breathe easier. And the home remains a place of rest, not another problem to manage. This is discipline at its most protective. A calm home is not built after the numbers are fixed. It is built while they are still uncertain, while plans are incomplete, while answers are still forming, while pressure is present, but contained. This is where discipline proves its worth, not in comfort, but in ambiguity. A disciplined man does not wait for financial clarity to offer emotional stability. He understands something essential. His family does not live inside spreadsheets. They live inside tone, inside rhythm, inside presence. Money stress may still exist. Bills may still need solving. Paths may still be unclear. But the home does not need to feel that weight, because a man who holds himself steady gives everyone else permission to breathe. Children sleep better when the atmosphere is calm. Partners relax when the ground feels firm. A trust grows when consistency is visible. This is quiet leadership, not announcing strength, not explaining pressure, just showing up, regulated, grounded, reliable. Over time, this steadiness compounds. It protects relationships. It preserves peace. It creates a home that feels safe even during uncertain seasons. Money will eventually be addressed. Numbers will change. But what you protect now determines what remains intact later. Discipline is not about control. It is about containment. It is about choosing calm before the world demands it.